It's 3:02 and I'll call the Selectmen's meeting to order. Present. So
Present.
Martha's present, Jonathan's on vacation. And you got a non-public scheduled, you said?
I don't know if you want to, there's not one scheduled. I have information in those envelopes for you guys regarding some general assistance applications that are in process. To me, there's not much to discuss. It's just an update for you, so it's up to you if you want to call a non-public or just take the information with you. But there's no questions that anybody's asking, it's just updating you on.
Okay, well, skip it.
Yeah.
You think it's necessary
I don't know what's going on.
or non-public? Did you?
The welfare
Yeah.
director just wanted to give you some updates on people that are
Okay,
requesting
okay,
and
yeah,
stuff
I
like
read that.
So you all
So
set?
if you want to discuss it, we can do it non-public, but I don't have any
Input.
Yeah.
Okay, then we're not doing non-public then. No need to.
It was a good update, but there's not much more to say about it at this point, I don't think. The part that's not a non-public is that the assistance money for housing is gone now.
Oh, I read that.
And there was an article that I'm told was misinformation saying they came up with more money for it that like Tri-County CAF and those agencies are using to put, to prevent homelessness. Supposedly that money's not, there is none. So it's gonna increase the town's, a lot of that stuff that came out of
Yes.
COVID for funding made our requirements, lower financially. The town hasn't been doing that much, but our welfare director expects that it's gonna
Like
increase
it's
sharply
gonna
now.
be,
So,
yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, just give me a minute here to get myself organized. All right, so this is all stuff that I need. Okay, I guess we will go through the health agencies' budgets requests.
yeah, they're mostly flat funded. If you wanted to make a blanket motion to approve, you could. I would offer the caveat, again, Tri-County CAP has a statistical, a way that they come up with that number, but you guys have been going above and beyond, splitting the difference between what they're requesting and what they used to get for funding, which was like 18,000. So if you wanted to level fund them, it would be 13,000. And I believe Starting Point did have a increase, but the rest are pretty well
Wait a
level
minute,
funded. or reduced.
Cap went down. They were only asking for $9,800.
Yeah, so they changed their formula 2 or so years ago. They had been getting like 18,000.
Yeah,
They went to an equation based on a number of factors and they came up with this lower number. But because it was like cutting their funding in half from Ossipee and knowing how many residents they serve here, you guys have gone above what they asked for the last 2 years. You guys have done 13,000, even though the equation only came out to that 9,000 and change. Because it used to be like 18,000 or something like that. Because if you recall, they used to have 3 different lines on here. They had
the buses and.
They had the transportation, the homeless, and
Yeah,
the heating or whatever. Now it's one small request, but because of that, at least the last 2 years, your board has voted to keep them at 13,000 and sort of meet them in the middle, even though it's higher than they asked for. And I'm not saying we should or shouldn't do that again, I'm just reminding you that that's what's happened in the past.
what happened with schools out?
They're gonna do a warrant article
Oh, okay.
as to not to go through the budget committee process.
Okay, what about White House?
Whitehorse called and said they don't intend to, that they weren't gonna ask for funding from us this year. I know they or ask for a large portion from the county, and somewhere along the lines they're not supposed to double dip between the town and the county, I'm told, so
Okay,
I think that's probably why.
it's okay. 37. I'm surprised to see caregivers went down, but I guess they felt they didn't need the extra $500.
They, They're not gonna be able to go to budget committee this year. All their directors have other commitments, and I think they were hoping that if they reduced it, they could still get funded even though they can't show up.
Okay. All right. You have any questions on any of them, Sue?
No, I,
All right.
well,
so-
the Ossipee Children's Fund went from
Yeah, that went up.
18 to 22.
Yeah. Which was a hike. I don't
Oh,
know if
yeah.
it's because there's more attendance to the more programs we're having or what, right?
Yeah. Missed that
Yeah, I
one
had
in
a note
terms of
there,
being
too.
increased, so they-
Where is it?
Mine was towards the back. I mean, so the purpose is awards for children to provide essential childcare, recreation, enrichment, and educational activities.
So I mean, is there a reason, I mean, are they getting more kids or is that what's going on or?
They didn't really put that level of explanation in here.
Well, I think it's a great program, I'm not saying that, I was just wondering what the increase was for, if it was more participation from the kids, because I know the program itself has really grown.
Okay, so on page 3, they say, in the past year, our board decided to fully fund driver's education for the teens we serve. So that's, I think, a lot of it. And awarded Ossipee teens $8,675 for driver's ed scholarships. They also provided Hannaford gift cards for some of the food insecurity and the fact that food is so expensive. So the total spend was $60,000. So yes, I think the driver's ed is a main factor in that increase.
Well, I know they're very good and do a lot for the kids.
Yeah.
I was like Sue, I was curious as what the increase was for.
I didn't catch that one. I apologize.
That's all right.
But we'll be doing this all again in detail Wednesday with budget committee. So if you do need to table anything, I can bring
Yeah.
back more details from that.
No, I think it's all right. So we've got to add the amount, because they only asked for 98, and I've given them 13 for cap,
Yep, I can tell you what a new total would
what
be.
the difference is.
So that would be an increase of 3,163, which if you fund everything as requested would put the total of 131,866 as requested for everybody except for Tri-County Cap would go up to 13.
Okay. Any more questions, Sue, or that explanation clear enough for you?
Yeah, that's clear enough.
I will make a motion to recommend $131,866 for the health agencies.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Okay, and the one that's not on the sheet, because it hasn't been funded in several years, is Main Street. Their request was 2,500. So the board would need to vote on that too, I think.
You want a separate vote on that one?
Or not, I just wanted to clarify that that wasn't on the sheet, so this vote doesn't include any funding for Main Street, so that's up to you how you wanna treat that.
Are you all set with that, Sue?
Well, I tried to get hold of Pat Jones. And every time I called, I would get Jim. He didn't know a cell phone number. And I haven't talked with her.
Would you like to hold off on that until you get a chance to talk to her?
There were a few questions I wanted to ask her, but on the purpose for which funds are requested to pay for, now, does Main Street pay the fuel up there at Main Street building? And they pay for electricity, telephone, internet, all of that, out of their fundraisers and donations and,
I don't know where they
According to
get it,
this,
'cause
they're
they don't
saying
have
she
any-
did.
They don't have any fundraisers or donation. I don't know where they.
Well, they just had that
yeah, they
penny sale.
have a
Oh,
penny
yeah,
sale
yeah.
once.
That wouldn't even
twice.
cover 1 month of utilities,
Yes,
really.
it wouldn't.
Are you
Well-
sure that the fuel and all that there?
No, I don't. Because things change when we put the
Well,
thing up there. I don't think it's fuel. I think it's internet. Because they have separate internet.
Yeah, I thought the internet might have been the only thing, I wasn't sure.
I think it's internet. I think it's just internet now. I could look.
well, is she's purpose for which funds are requested to pay for utilities, heat, lights, telephone, and internet. Up to this point, we have been able to pay all of these bills. It is uncertain what the increase in these items will be, and we all know that everything's going, especially fuel and electricity, are going up. I think we should fund Main Street, and in this explanation of their application, they are going to have quite a Christmas at the gazebo. They have music, Santa, carolers, and they have done so much in the past with the gazebo and so forth, and they are planning the projects like rubber ducky. I don't know what that brings in, but the tree lighting, refreshments, and that costs money, but also they'll resume activities like the business fair. See, they're trying, and the appreciation barbecue and penny sales. This last penny sale they had, they made $262. That's what they made on that penny sale. That's, as I said, I think they have done a lot with the signs up entering Ossipee's and so forth. We shouldn't just not do anything for Main Street. How many years ago did they start, Martha?
God.
Not 206, no.
Yeah, it's quite a while. I mean, I was still here. Yeah.
And they have been working hard, and the times are getting harder. I think as a part, Main Street is a big part of Ossipee, that Ossipee should fund Main Street. That's my opinion.
Well, let's hold off till John gets back. Do you want to or not?
We can.
Are you happy with that? Waiting until he gets back? What do you think?
I don't get a vote, I respect whatever the board wants.
No. All right, let's hold this one off. We still got time.
We got all kinds of time really, because, I mean, you think about it, the public hearing, it's not even the selectmen's budget, it's the budget
February,
committee, but yeah, that's gonna be, yeah, February-ish, so, all kinds of time.
Yeah, we can hold off till next week.
All right, let's just hold off 1 week on
You
this.
can talk to Pat too.
I couldn't get hold of her.
No, but you could, if you just come here Mondays, she's in the gym.
Oh, for art class, yeah. Yeah.
So next Monday, you could just come a little early, she'd be right down there.
Or,
Oh, yeah, I know that.
or I can invite her to the meeting, you know, in the past you guys had
Maybe
said
we
not
could do
to
that. Bring her in next Monday.
You have to do it downstairs.
Yeah.
We can meet with her downstairs. I mean, she's at the office.
Or do you want a chance to try to speak to her offline outside of a meeting first and then let me know?
Yeah, I can do that.
I'll do whatever you want, I just wanna be clear on if I'm inviting her, or if you wanna have a private conversation first.
And I probably didn't talk to her try to get her as many times as I should have when I couldn't get her because of my busy schedule with what's going on.
Did you try calling the Main Street building itself?
Yeah,
Okay. She's
but going back and forth up Moultonville Road as many times as I do not see her car there so much.
Yeah.
But I think it's because of previous happenings or whatever. But I think we should fund something to Main Street to help them with the prices of everything going up so. And they have tried hard. They worked hard on that penny sale and look what they made.
Could you just take over the utilities?
What?
Could you just take over the utilities, you know what I'm saying?
That's
Because
enough.
we use the building for the
Yes,
cemeteries.
there's 2 other offices in that building, correct?
One.
One, I
The-
thought it was
just the
trustee of trust
cemeteries.
funds.
Well, it's the same office,
They
but
share
yeah,
the-
they share.
Oh, they share the same office.
But you could do that and then it wouldn't matter, right?
You say
She-
pick up the expenses of the
Pay for the,
utilities.
She's gonna have to call the vendors and transfer the bill over to the town now.
Yep.
Like, we have to have a proper bill and a proper paper trail. We can't just, you know what I'm saying, like reimburse her. It's gotta be put in the town's name. I don't think all these bills are in Main Street's name.
I don't think they are either.
I think,
I think some of them are, but I think, because at the time we couldn't use that internet, remember?
yeah, and that's why I agree. I think internet is in Main Street's and she wouldn't give us the password. So the trustees don't even have internet up there because Pat didn't want to share the Wi-Fi password. So I know the internet's probably in her name, in Main Street's name still, but I'm not sure that they get a heating bill or I'm gonna go, if we have a minute, I'm gonna see if the finance director can pull and see if we pay the power and everything there. Would that be helpful?
Yeah, that would be helpful. I
You do
was just
that,
going
and
by
then we'll
her
have-
application.
And we'll give Sue, that'll give her another week to get a hold of Pat.
Yep.
talk to her,
Okay.
Get a feeling for how you deal with that.
What's the address there? Is it 6 Moultonville?
Oh, I just looked at it too.
It's 15
I think it's
think
6
it
Molten
is.
Road.
bucks. She's saying in the app.
No, just post office box.
Yeah. Do it. There it is.
What's the heat and fuel there? Oil?
Yeah.
So it's C and Brown is one vendor I'm gonna look for,
In Eversource.
and Eversource.
But that might be co-op, I'm not sure.
Still
No,
looking.
electric
Yeah, I
would
can't.
be, that would be Eversource right in town. We're
Okay.
all Eversource here.
Okay.
Because of the location. Well, she's got.
Geez, I can't remember that number, I think it is 6.
Why is Pat paying for advertising for Old Home Week? Oh, she paid $130 to have an ad in the Old Home Week paper. Is that what this is saying? Spent $436 on advertising. And that could be for her, what program she is doing. Fundraising. Insurance, CNA 8.
And to get it out there to the public, it's a great idea to have publicity or
I'm
an ad,
assuming that's what she did. If she had something going on, she advertised
you know,
in
in
the
the
Conway Sun.
Old Home Week newspaper.
Yeah. And the Conway Sun, I would assume she'd have to do that if she's got an event coming up.
And especially these upcoming year, with everything going up, the people that have got to pay their bills on the outside probably won't be donating so much or giving so much to Main Street to
Yeah.
help them run their activities.
She's gonna look, her gut reaction was she doesn't think the town pays the oil or electricity, but she has to look, and those bills there's a lot of bills there. The town does pay the water bill. She just looked at that, so she knew that offhand and had that bill handy. The town pays the water, but I'm not sure. Heat, lights, telephone, internet. They very well might be paying those things. I don't know.
Okay, so let's leave it that we're gonna vote on this next week. That'll give Andrea time to look up what she needs to.
I'm
So we can jump on that. Is that
pretty
all right?
positive that they pay the electrical and the heating.
That one's separate, so that's for next.
So if the town took it
Well,
over, that would
because
be,
she's got it written down here. Seems like.
Yep.
Okay. What's November 4th is Friday, 10 to 3. I'm embarrassed to say I don't even know this Julie Matson. She must be somebody's worked there for a long time.
I don't know. I don't know.
Did you get one of these? You
Yes.
did, okay.
Yeah, that's the first impression I had too,
And that's all.
to celebrate the retirement of Julie Matson. And I didn't know who it was.
Yeah, I don't recall if she's come to any of the Christmas parties that we do or not. I don't know. I wouldn't recognize her.
So we have to make a decision about the files that municipal's holding for us?
To me, it's not much of a decision. They intend to get rid of them when they legally can. can, like emails and stuff, so from my perspective, it doesn't,
No.
I don't think it says it needs a vote there at the bottom, I think
No,
it just says unless that
If
we
you have any
object.
questions, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I know how much storage for data costs, and
Yeah.
everybody does stuff like that.
Okay, fine. Okay, does anybody have anything else?
Nope. No, I'm assuming next week we can talk more about the communications district situation as well. Give you guys a chance to look over those bylaws,
Yeah, I'd like to at least read that before
read
I,
the email. That's, okay. So I'm gonna put it on
On the
the
agenda
agenda,
for next week.
mostly as a reminder for me to bring it
yeah.
up. I guess I need clarification too. Is a representative of the Communications District Planning Committee, like, is that board coming, or is the Board of Selectmen supposed to host it and be the ones answering questions? Because if that's the case, we're not prepared to answer the question. I was a representative to the committee, but I still it's
Sure
very
what's
unclear,
going on.
yeah, what the next steps will be if it's formed, in terms of what action they'll take.
All right, just leave it on the agenda for
Yep.
next week.
Awesome.
Okay, you have anything else, Susie?
No, that's all I have.
We'll make a motion to recess until 4:15.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3:30.
Okay, it's a little after 4:15, and I want to reconvene from recess and ask you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Thank you. And now I'll open the meeting to public input.
Yes, I have a question. I was wondering if there was any kind of report from the Schools Out Committee, because there's a selectman representative for the Schools Out Committee, and I haven't heard anything since it was put together. So I was wondering if there was anything from that, because they're obviously skipping the Budget Committee and the selectmen this year and going right to the town. So I was just wondering if there was any kind of report from them.
None that I'm aware of.
Well,
Justin, our rec director, I believe, is the rep for that.
Yeah, they're just going to the warrant, doing the warrant article instead of going through the budget.
does anybody know what they're asking for?
We haven't seen any petition warrant
So
articles.
We won't
nobody
know
from
until they
the,
submit the warrant.
so nobody from the selectman's office that's on the committee has gotten any kind of indication what they're asking for?
For the budget committee?
Well, no, there's a Schools Out Committee that you guys have a selectman's representative on.
Justin is our representative.
Yeah, so he hasn't told you anything?
I don't believe they've come up with a number yet until they submit their warrant article.
Oh, okay, I was just wondering, because it was formed like before school started, before school even started, the committee. And we haven't heard anything, so. I was just trying to find out if there was any information at all. Nothing?
We haven't heard anything.
Okay, that was what I was.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
You probably can go through the school and their, the school system is their fiscal agent. I'm sure under 91A you would have the right to
No, we have a committee. We have a representative, a selectman's representative on the committee. I remember when you guys voted
I'm sure if
for
they
it.
discussed it and they had a number in mind, Justin would have told us, I'm sure.
Well, okay, that's what we have a representative for, right? You guys voted, I was right here, I remember when you voted for that. So, I was just wondering about it.
I can ask him and let you know next week.
Okay, that would be great.
Yep.
So at least we have some kind of idea what's going on, because the committee should be doing more than just telling us about money, they should be telling us about everything that's going on with it.
Yep.
Okay.
Any more public input? David?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Madam Chairman, I was in here probably 2.5 months ago requesting that somebody do something about my neighbor's chickens on my property, in my barn, on my doorstep, in the road. People come stopping and telling me my chickens are in the road. They're not my chickens, and they are in the road. I came in here and asked about having somebody do something about the same neighbor's dogs. They bark incessantly. Yesterday it was started at 5:30 in the morning, and when I went to bed at 9 o'clock last night, they were still barking. It just continues day in and day out. And the third thing was, we have an ordinance that I believe says you can live in a camper for 30 days. I talked to you on primary day, Martha, and you said that you thought the law had been changed to 60. I would think that unless the legislature did it, I would think that would be a zoning ordinance that would have to be voted for by the entire town and at town meeting. I think I've only missed 1 or 2 elections in the last 25 years. I don't remember voting to change it from 30 to 60 days.
I think it was David, but I will check.
I believe it is still 30.
30?
I believe so. There's some caveats to it, though. If they're building a house, and they have an active building permit, and they have proper utility, way to get rid of their wastewater and stuff, that there's some exceptions, I believe, but.
And there's also, I know talking with John before, that if they leave with the camper for 2 hours and come back, or a certain amount of time, that 30 days starts over.
Right.
It sounds like an excuse to me. But
Yeah, the way the ordinance is written, it says the max of 30 consecutive days. It doesn't say cumulative or anything. So how do you prove if it's consecutive if they leave? So I believe that's one of the things that the zoning revision committee, which is headed up by Selectman Smith, Chairman Smith, I think I believe have.
Probably will be one of the issues.
It will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that's coming up.
I just want to make it clear, it doesn't affect me where this person's living. But I was on the zoning board for 12 years. We put people through hoops and to do things right. And this hasn't been done right. The selectmen are supposed to enforce the regulations, whether it be chickens, dogs barking, or campers. They're supposed to enforce the law. And it doesn't look to me like it's being done, and it should be done, or we should get rid of the people that enforce it, or get rid of the people that aren't enforcing it.
We'll get rid of zoning.
I think at the time, so you speak to the dog officer. And
I talked to the chief, and I think he picked it up with Mr. Babson from there. I think you dealt with Chief Castaldo to some extent, or had conversations, correct?
I did about the chickens, and he told me they were livestock, and having a little bit of knowledge of agriculture in the state. I don't think a chicken is considered livestock.
I think I was told basically with chickens, it's a civil matter between you and your neighbors.
Well, we're in the state road, and there's going to be an accident, and that's not going to be my fault.
It's a state road.
Yes, Brown Ridge Road is a state road.
Could I ask for a little bit of a clarification on something, on the animals for zoning? The way I understand zoning is you're allowed 1 animal per acre, and then every, 1 animal every half acre after that for all zones. That's not the way it reads? Because I'm pretty sure I read that in the zoning book.
That would mean if you had 25 chickens like Ed, he'd have to have 25 acres.
Or 12 at least. That's the way it's written, if I remember reading it correctly. But to me, it doesn't matter. I understand how it works. That's why I was looking for clarification on it, because I believe I read that in our zoning, the way it's set up right now, is first livestock, animal, 1 acre. Every one after that, you have to have, I believe it's a half acre. And that doesn't include chickens, I believe. I believe it's like cows and horses and goats, pigs, stuff like that, something bigger.
I don't know offhand.
Because you can put a lot of chickens in a small space.
So to your point, chickens are not classified
I don't
as
believe so. I believe it's
livestock.
I believe it's livestock that
Right.
would be bigger, like cows and horses and goats and pigs.
I could be wrong, Matt, but I don't believe chickens are considered livestock. Cows, horses,
Yep.
domestic deer, buffalo,
Yep.
everything else.
A lot of hoofed animals in there.
But I think it's what I'm getting at is the amount of land you're supposed to have to do that.
But we're saying that's irrelevant if chickens aren't livestock. And
Yeah, but
apply to chickens.
Go down the street. I'm just saying, if you go to the end of the street, you'll see the same. We have llamas, right? Or not llamas.
You've been in contact with the dog officer at all?
No,
No?
no. Haven't got a call at all.
Well, you can bypass the PD, I think, potentially, if you call dispatch, they can page her out. She's the dog officer.
What, Matt?
I believe if you call dispatch at Carroll County, I believe they can dispatch the dog officer directly if the PD isn't giving you the.
Well, I'd rather work for a police department here in town.
I think it still would go through them, they would dispatch them there.
It always was that way.
But I would think, the reason I ask is I would think if it's a safety issue in the road, then that would be a police matter too.
And you know, the new neighbors right across the street, they probably want to keep peaceful, but they have to hear the dog. You know, the people up the street across from where the Lamarcks used to live, and with the donkeys, they can hear it every morning, and it barks all day long. Every time someone comes around, it's barking. Anyway, I wish you'd look into that camper thing and clear it up so there isn't any question. Thank you.
Anything else?
I probably did too much.
Okay, we'll start out. I have the town of Ossipee check voucher totals for week ending October 26th with a pay date of November 1st. Total payroll was $44,256.54. Total accounts payable in the general fund was $18,370.30. Water spent $80.75 and sewer spent $80.75. Total fund payments for the week was $62,788.34. Make a motion to approve this.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Last week, due to an illness, the Selectmen's meeting for October 17th, the minutes were not approved. They're here now, and I make a motion to approve them.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The workshop Selectmen's meeting for October 24th is here, and I make a motion to approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I have two at the workshop, that's my copy. The Selectmen's meeting for October 24th held at 4:15. I have the minutes available, and I make a motion to approve these.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This is six signs. These are my copies. And that's all I have.
I have a cemetery deed. Know all persons by these present that the town of Ossipee, a municipal corporation operating and existed under the laws of the state of New Hampshire, Carroll County, New Hampshire, for consideration paid, grants to Michael E. Chelson and Joanne M. Chelson of 13 Barrington Circle. It is designated as Lot 73, plots A and B. I make a, in the south section. I make a motion, we approve this cemetery deed.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I have an intent to cut wood or timber, map 18, lot 7. It is a supplemental intent. Acreage of lot 9, acreage of cut 3. Access road, Route 16. No, there are no cemeteries and taxes have been paid. I make a motion, we approve this intent to cut wood or timber.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
May I ask who that's for?
Beg your pardon?
I don't believe you said you had a...
That is for Henry Gelinas, Gelinas.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I have a letter here from the County of Carroll, Office of the Treasurer. In accordance with the laws of the state of New Hampshire, you are assessed and required to pay to the treasurer of said County of Carroll the sum of $890,334 on or before the 19th day of December 2022. Same being your just portion of the sum of $7,780,549 and no cents. I make a motion, we approve this County of Carroll Treasurer of $890,334.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's all I have.
Okay. I'm gonna open the business meeting back up to public input. David?
To go back to the cemetery deed, I'm completely ignorant of it. What is that all about? Does the town own the lot and sell it to the dead person's estate, or?
Town owns the cemeteries, and if a person buys a lot in there, the deed comes from us.
And is that, when they purchase that purchase price, is that a one-time in perpetuity, or do you bill them every year with the estate?
That's a one-time
It's a one-time charge?
charge for the lot.
Okay, thank you.
Martha, just a sec. I wanted to clear that up for you before you left. It's 30 consecutive days that someone can stay in a camper. If they leave for 24 hours, that time starts back over. And right now, the zoning committee is trying to change it that you can live in a camper from May 1st to October 31st, but you can't from November 1st to April 30th. That's what they're trying to
Makes sense.
make. The planning board's got to approve it and stuff, but that's what they're trying to do. But as of right now,
Yes, you're right, it's inconsistent.
Very hard to prove somebody didn't
and
leave.
Matt can tell you about the chickens a little bit.
John agreed, Mr. Babson, that chickens don't count as livestock. So that's from his zoning perspective. I don't know, we'll have to talk.
Well, if you go to, I think it's RSA 473, something like that, they define what are agricultural products?
Yep,
Timber, animals, vegetables.
yeah, I
I
got
think
as far
it's
as
470.
427 to, but it's gonna take more reading than we'll do in the meeting, but, yeah, I will share with the police chief what I find as far as it goes.
I just, may I have the phone on again, just for a second? I don't understand, yes, it's probably a civil matter, but it's a dangerous, it's a state road, the chickens are in the road, they fly across, you can hear people jam on the brakes. Why is it my responsibility, because they're coming on and crapping on my porch? Why on my horse's feed bunks? Why is it my room? We have a police chief, we have a police department, we have a animal control officer. Why isn't it their responsibility? If they don't want to do them, get rid of them.
But as I asked you before, have you contacted the dog officer?
No, I contacted the chief of police and I contacted you people. I came right here 3 months ago and said, here,
I know.
told you I was complaining about it.
Yeah. Well, we will get it, we'll speak to the chief also. Okay, the only other meetings we have this week is the Budget Committee will be meeting November 2nd and 3rd at the Freight House at 6:30. We will be back in session next week, November 7th.
I do have something about the dams too, when you guys, if I could say something about the dams before you end it. I got the inspection back from we did the inspections for the New Hampshire DES for both dams. I only got the information back on the big dam, Hope Pond Dam, which is one way up. And it actually, really good news was, it actually passed the 100-year rainstorm that they model everything after, and it was able to take that. So the amount that we will have to fix on that dam is minimal compared to replacing it. There's some small cracks that we need to, pretty much, we can do it. We don't even need to hire anyone to do it. We're going to look into it. I'm going to look into it a little bit more, but I sent the OMR back today to get us in compliance with that dam. I didn't receive anything from the Mill Pond Dam yet, but little conversation with DES when they were here was Mill Pond Dam looked a lot better than what they thought, because I don't know if you noticed, but Neil drained it right down to nothing so they could really get a good look at it. And that benefited us big time, because they see that there wasn't giant holes like they thought, and I think we're still going to have to do something, but I don't think it's going to be as much. And we do have to implement that, and I are going to have to work on that. We do have to test our emergency action plan, which we have to do every 4 years, and we're going to have to do that very soon. And we will, report back on how that goes.
If we hire Indeed, do we have to pay to hire?
What's that?
Beavers, if we hire some beavers, do we have to pay?
Yeah, they do a good
Indeed?
job. Yeah,
They do an unbelievable job. Look at the one on Brown Ridge Road.
yeah.
I have a question about the emergency action plan.
Yep.
Does that involve anything with the rest of the town? Or are they going to be setting off I remember years ago they used to set off the alarm at the fire department. Like the horns, you could hear them everywhere. I haven't heard them in years. They haven't used them in quite a while.
I believe it will be like they'll contact, the emergency action plan test will be they'll start at dispatch, and then they will do a test and contact all the contacts
Just the people on the list then.
on the list, and then it would be one of the persons on the list, either me or the fire department, to contact the homeowners, or the police chief, or somebody. But I think we just need to test. I have to look into it more too, because I just got the paperwork today, but we got to see what we actually have to test. I want to talk to them, because the letter's kind of confusing, so.
Yeah, I'm just wondering because I know you guys, I know you're trying to get who's going to be doing what at your level.
Yeah.
How do we notify the rest of the town what's going on? Is all I'm saying.
There's not
Somebody's
that
going to
many
have to
houses
get out with
affected.
a bullhorn or something.
I can get you a copy of it, but there's actually not that many houses affected, or
No.
people affected now.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not at all. There's not many at all. Patty acres a little bit, but it goes uphill so hard on each side that
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yep,
I was just wondering.
yep.
Being no further business, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
4:37.